Throughout the years, we have had some great, some not so great, and some full game franchises that have come and gone for plenty of different reasons, but there are some games that have left us just way too soon. Some of them are my personal favorites, some of them are going to be classics as well that have been universally loved and requested to return in one way or another throughout the years. So today, we're going to look back at these game franchises, appreciate them for what they were, and hope that one day the video game lords will bless us with yet another masterpiece. Now this will be the first video in however many parts it takes for me to talk about them, because there are a lot of them on this list. So if you want to be notified when those parts go up, make sure to subscribe and also comment and let me know if there are any games that you think of that should be revived, or maybe games that I forget to mention here. Like I said, it's a pretty big list, so we're going to have a lot to go through, but these are going to be the first few I talk about here. Firstly, of course, is Bioshock. One of the best game franchises of all time in my opinion, between the horror aspect of the first game, the world of Rapture and Columbia, playing as a Big Daddy in Bioshock 2, and of course the insane twist at the ending of Infinite. These games have brought some of the scariest and most incredible storytelling that video game has to offer, and it has been almost an entire decade since the release of Infinite, so it is about time we start to hear what Take-Two and the new developers Cloud Chamber Studios do have to offer. Now the follow-up to Infinite has been rumored to have been worked on for some time now, and now the real question is, where will the next Bioshock be going? I also have a Bioshock tattoo. It's right here. It's pretty big. It's got Rapture, the lighthouse, Columbia. It's my biggest tattoo so far, and it sucked. It hurt, but it was worth it. Now the next game on this list is one of my personal favorites again, Bully, the PG-13 alternative to Rockstar's GTA franchise. Developed by Rockstar back in 2006 for the PlayStation 2. The game did receive a remaster called the Scholarship Edition for PC, Xbox 360, Nintendo Wii. Funny enough, the PlayStation actually never got the remaster version, so if you're playing the one on the PlayStation Store on PS4, you're technically playing the PS2 version. But this is honestly my favorite Rockstar game of all time. Playing as the rough and tough troublemaker Jimmy Hopkins, running around the school of Bulworth, causing trouble and trying to set right all the wrongs that came before you. It's just honestly, I think, Rockstar's best storytelling to date, and yes, I'm including GTA 5 and all of the Grand Theft Autos before. Now there was word that Bully 2 was in a very early stage of production back in 2009, but interest seems to have fallen off, and the producers have just yet to pick it up since. There have been several references to Bully throughout Rockstar properties over the years. I hope that one day we will see Jimmy Hopkins again in the future, but the way Rockstar's been, I think they've just been focusing way too much on Red Dead Redemption and GTA Online, so I'm not really sure the next time that we'll be able to visit Bulworth again, but hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later. Now, while talking about Rockstar, most of you probably know the very controversial, ultra-violent series Manhunt. Now, the first game was released in 2003 and the second in 2007, both on the PlayStation 2. Both of them had their very fair share of controversy over the years, the second one going as so far as censoring many of the kills in order to get an M rating, as it was originally slated for an adult-only rating. But I love both of these games. The first one is my favorite narratively, the second one is my favorite gameplay-wise, as it had a couple of updates in the gameplay, and just because it was a newer game at the time, it fixed some of the issues the first one had. But both of them are very rich with their world building, of course the intense stealth sections and the intense violence that the game had to offer. It was really something for the whole family. As much as I would love to see a third entry, I can't imagine Rockstar ever going out of their way in order to make another controversial game like this, especially with the amount of money that they're making from GTA Online and how they're pushing Red Dead Online with Red Dead 2. I just can't imagine they'll ever stick their neck out for a property like this again. Plus, Rockstar's gone through so many shifts in the last little while. If they were to make a third game, I can't imagine it would be anywhere near as good as the first two. Something I do miss dearly from these games, and just physical games only, is the first Manhunt. If you played it back in the day, or if you have the physical copy, The entire game menu is just filled with different types of lore. They make it look like it's a video, like if you get a video, like all the different instructions and stuff like that. It makes it look like you bought a booklet with all this different information on it. It's something I just miss from physical releases too, while we're talking of bringing dead things back. Like I have all Bully, Manhunt 2, Manhunt 1, all for the PS2, and even Bully comes a nice little guide to Bulworth Academy, and the inside just has all the information on it, but like the table of contents, they make it look like you're getting a guide to the school, and it even came with a poster. I miss physical things, and I will be honest, Rockstar is one of the best when it comes to getting a title physically, but they still made the booklet look like hospital records. So if you get this, the inside, all the instructions, they make it look like you're looking at medical records. Like, a little bit of a tangent, I didn't write out talking about this, but while I was, even look at the disc. The disc has Daniel's name on it, the date, like, I miss physical releases so much, and even when you buy a physical disc now, you don't get anything in the box anymore. Sorry, I'm going to end this rant here, but I just needed to indicate this while I was thinking about it. I just miss having physical versions of games with all this cool stuff in it. Okay, anyway, back to the main point. One of my favorite horror game series of all time has unfortunately been set aside for some time now, that being Dead Space. Now, although Dead Space was initially criticized for being similar to Resident Evil 4 in its presentation and gameplay, it really is a mark of its own, with its terrifying spaceship levels, the creature designs, and the array of cool weapon choices throughout. It really has become a staple as one of the best horror games out there. Since the third installment took more of a co-op action approach, the series was left for dead. Unfortunately, its developers, Visceral Games, has been disbanded for some time now, since 2017, thanks to EA. Therefore, there's really no possibility of us getting a whole nother Dead Space game. Now, there is a remake in the works, but unfortunately, that remake is being done by people completely unrelated to Visceral Games. So I have no interest in supporting or letting EA get away with absorbing these companies and then disbanding them shortly after, as EA loves to constantly imperialize a bunch of these companies and then burn them to the ground. So until either Visceral Games becomes an entity again, or they get the original team that worked on Dead Space and bring them back in order to make another one, as far as I'm concerned, Dead Space is sadly long gone and will probably never come back in our lifetime. Now, of course, this could not be a list about dead games that need to come back without talking about Jet Set Radio. One of my favorite game series of all time. It started as Jet Set Grind on the Dreamcast, or Jet Set Radio, depending on where you got it. And then Jet Set Radio Future was a reimagining of that first game that came with the original Xbox. These have found a beloved fan base over the years and has no shortage of requests for another installment. Between the game's incredibly unique soundtrack by, forgive me if I pronounce this wrong, Hideki Naganuma, the creative shell-shaded art style, the graffiti that you paint all along the city streets, and the fun, bombastic characters with their own styles, the overall concept of expression against tyranny is really what makes this one of the most interesting games I have ever experienced. I grew up playing this game. I used to have a nanny that I would stay with during the weekends while both of my parents were working, and they had an original Xbox, and I grew up playing Jet Set Radio Future at their house, and that has heavily influenced the music that I love, the style that I'm interested in. I think this game is honestly such a gem, and it has had so many requests to come back. There's even a game developer out there who has created a really quick promo to try to get Sega invested in making another one, and they denied it. So hopefully they denied it because they plan on making a new one. There has even been a Discord channel supporting one singular guy recreating Jet Set Radio Future from the ground up to work with multiplayer. I have played it briefly, and it honestly works pretty well, and it's a whole lot of fun. Now, there will soon be a game heavily inspired by Jet Set Radio Future called Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. It's using the exact same art style and concept while including other kinds of traversal options such as BMX, skateboarding, and it's using the same kind of color palette to bring you back into the world that we all so dearly miss. And almost, most importantly, they got Hideki Naganuma to do the music from the original Jet Set Radio Future, and he is now doing the music for Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. This game looks like it's going to be incredible. Hopefully one day we'll be able to revisit Tokyo and fight the evils of tyranny one piece of art at a time, but until then, hopefully you go out and you support Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. And every part must contain at least one classic, and this time it's Knights of the Old Republic. Now, I have not personally played these games, but they have been revered for being long ahead of its time in the RPG realm and as one of the greatest Star Wars games, if not the greatest Star Wars game of all time. Now, there has been an announcement for a remake of KOTOR. I don't know much about it personally, but from what I saw, it does look incredible. But I can only imagine the excitement of those who grew up playing them must feel with the opportunity to replay them with a breath of fresh air in the new generation of consoles. Well, that's it for this one, guys. Like I said, I have a nice fat list of games here to go through, so if there's any that you think I should cover that I may not have on this list that I'm not going to show you so you don't know what I'm going over, please let me know in the comments. Like I said, subscribe so you can be notified when I upload the next parts of these as well. And hit the like button and let me know that you're interested in these types of videos. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to me talk about shit that I like to ramble on about. I hope you guys have a good one, and I will see you in the next video. I don't have a hat, so see ya.